What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sire Abram, for those who do not know me, and I'm a stock options trader. Now, I've been doing this for about 3 years now, and I made a ton of mistakes throughout my first year. And my goal is to help you avoid making those same mistakes that I made throughout my first year. Before we get into today's video, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And also, if you love something about the video or if you learned something new, feel free to let me know in the comments. All right, so if you couldn't tell from the title, today we're going to be talking about the basics of TradingView, okay? So for those of you who are not familiar with TradingView, it is a website where we conduct charting on. And this is how we look at the price action of a stock. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to start off with going to tradingview.com. And this right here is our search bar, okay? And there's going to be, so it looks like it's not loading, but there's going to be a whole lot of stuff on this main screen, which is not really important. So here, this symbol area, this is our search bar, and we can type in whatever stock we want to look at. So we're going to start off with looking at NVIDIA. So we're going to look at the ticker, which is NVDA. So we just type that in, and we're going to click on the first one that appears. And you want to make sure that it has the USA logo. So now we're going to click launch chart. And now we are presented with a pretty clean chart on NVIDIA. So before we even dive into how to read charts and all of that stuff, we're going to focus on our tools, okay? Because there's a lot of stuff that we're going to have to utilize within TradingView. So we're just going to take it step by step. So let's start off with this left-hand section, all right? So the first icon right here, this is your cursor, all right? So we're just going to leave that on cross. And you can see as we move the mouse, the cross moves along with it. So now on the second icon here, we have our trend line. And with this, we simply just use it to identify a trend, okay? So we can move this line in any direction we want, down, up, left, right, doesn't matter. You can make it however long or however short you want it to be. So now the next one that's important here is our horizontal ray. So if we click on horizontal ray, click once on the chart, it's going to create a horizontal line. And as you can see on the right-hand side, this is where the price of the stock is. So wherever we move the line, the price will correlate. All right. And then lastly, the most important one that we're going to use is our horizontal line. So this is pretty much the same thing as a horizontal ray, but you can see the difference is that the horizontal line creates it all the way through instead of the horizontal ray, where you can extend it out to however long or however short you want it to be. All right, so those are the only three tools that we're going to utilize within that second icon. All right, so now in the, let's see, the fourth icon, here we have the rectangle. So if we just click on the rectangle, click once and extend it out, we can create a rectangle that we can make it however big, however small we want it to be. So now the next important one is the brush, and this is just a drawing tool. And we can essentially draw whatever we want to show. All right, here are my artistic skills. Okay, so moving on. Next, we have the path. And if we click once, click again, and wherever we click, this is where the path is going to stop, and we just conduct it to go in a different direction. So you can just do that wherever you want. And to end it, you double click. So let's see. Yeah, those are all the important ones in the fourth icon. Then the fifth icon, right here, we have text. So we click once and we can type whatever we want. You can pretty much just type anything. And we can adjust the sizing of our text. So if we want it to be bigger, we can just increase the numbers. If we want to put on bold, we click it. Italicize, we click it. We can change the color here if you would like as well. Just all depending on your preference. So now you can see here, if you click text wrap, it'll wrap it up. And if you undo it, then it'll all be horizontal. All right, so now the next important one within this is our price label, all right? So I specifically use the price labels as price targets to illustrate it, okay? So if we click on our price label tool and click once, it'll illustrate what the price is at that given point. So for example, if we wanted to say 395.6 is our entry point for, I don't know, calls to take a position, then let's say we're like, okay, our targets is going to be 408, 425, 444. That's how I like to illustrate it with the price labels. So now I like to color code it. So I use green for call targets, and I like to use red for puts targets. So if we clicked right here, we can see that it's still green. So now, if you notice, every time you click on it, you'll have this toolkit pop up. If you click the paint bucket, you can change it to whatever color you would like. So for puts targets, I like to put as red. And all that means just for downside targets. So now, whatever we place it, or wherever we place it, it's going to be red. So let's say we want to place one up here. We want to make it blue. You can just change it to blue. And you can just keep on doing that same thing over and over and over again. And this is all up to your liking. Some people like to do different colors, but it's all up to you. All right, so let's see. I don't really use these as much, but these are the arrow mark up and the arrow mark down. So these are just arrows. So let's say you're trying to, show something should be moving up. If you click once, it'll give you the arrow up. If you click the arrow mark down, it's just the opposite. I know a lot of this stuff might seem, very obvious or whatnot, but trust me, all this stuff is very critical when it comes to being a profitable trader, right? You have to know how to utilize the platforms to the best of your ability. And this is where you set that foundation. The foundation is what's going to get you to become a profitable trader. Okay, so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So on the seventh icon here, we have our long and short position. So if we click long position, this is going to illustrate how we're looking to play something to the upside. And if we look to play something to the downside, we illustrate with a short position. So for now, let's just stick with long. So if we click once, the middle section or the middle line is going to be where our entry point is. So we can adjust this to wherever we want. And now this bottom tab, we can move to illustrate our stop loss. And all that means is when the stock hits this certain point, we're going to get out. All right. And now your target is showing where your targets are. So the whole idea with this is you want to have very little risk for a big reward. So would it make sense for us to, risk this much to make this much? Not at all, right? It's not smart. It would make more sense for us to risk this much to make this much. And that's how we want to have it set. And these are the type of high quality trades we are looking to take. So now let's say we were looking to play something to the downside. It's just going to be the complete opposite. So if we click short position, we click once, the middle section or the middle column is going to be where our entry point is. The red is going to be our stop loss. The green is going to be our target. So does this look like a good risk to reward? Yes, it does. Does this look like a good risk to reward? No, it does not, because we are risking a lot to make very little. So we always want to make sure that we can take small L's, but then once we take a W, it's going to outweigh all of our smaller losses. And that's the whole goal with this. And this is how you can illustrate your high quality setups. So now next is going to be, here I believe they call this your icon or emoji section. I don't really use any of these at all, so not too important. And in terms of everything else on this left-hand side, the only important thing is this trash can. So if we had a bunch of stuff on here, let's say we had all this. Let's say we had a couple lines on here. Let's say we had a couple arrows on here. If we click on the arrow next to the trash can and we click remove for drawings, it's going to remove everything. It's going to erase it. And that's all that is. So it's pretty self-explanatory. All right, so now moving on, you can see on the bottom section right here, this shows the dates. All right, so let's go to a smaller time frame. All right, so this will show July 30th, or no, June 30th, July 1st, July 2nd, 5th, 6th, and so forth. This is how you see the dates. And on the right-hand side, this is where you see all the prices. So if you take your mouse and click and hold and move it up, you can see the prices get, or they zoom in more. And if you see that, if you click and hold and drag it down, it's going to zoom it out more. And this is going to be important to know later on. We'll see. All right, so now moving on, let's see what's next. Okay, so up here, where it says candles, hope everyone can see that. I'll make a mark to it. Right here on this icon, if you click candles, it's going to show different ways you can look at a chart. So let's say, for example, we're looking at this chart right here. Let's say we click candles, and let's say we make it a line. Now we can see price moving in a line. We click candles again. It's going to switch to candles. Let's say we wanted to switch it to Hikanashi. It's going to look like this, but none of that's important because all I use is just candles. That's it, just regular candles. That's all you need to use. And now there are a lot of other intricate things with trading that you can use, such as indicators. Personally, I don't use them, so there's no point of covering them. Let's see. So now let's say that you wanted to look at multiple stocks at one time. If you come over here and click this box right here, select layout, it'll give you options to how you can look at different stocks. So let's say we want to look at two stocks. We can click that one and we can see we have the ability to look at two different stocks trading at the same time. I use this sometimes. The only thing I don't like about it is the view isn't as great. Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about is creating a watch list. Okay. So when it comes to creating a watch list, all that means is we are curating a list of stocks that we want to look at, and we just want to have them saved. So if we click this icon right here, right under publish, this is going to show our watch list. And as you can see, I have a pretty long watch list of a bunch of different stocks, okay? So these are all the stocks that, I like to trade every so often. Your watch list doesn't have to be big. It can be as many as you want. You can also create multiple different watch lists. So let's create a new one right here. So all we're going to do is click that plus sign. And let's say we're going to type in, actually, let's see. How do I do this? Okay, here we go. So you click main, click the arrow, create new watch list. And let's name this, let's see, what's the date? Today's the 4th, I believe, 8/4/22 watch list. Jeez, can't type. So now we're going to click save. And here we have a new watch list. So if we want to add stocks to our watch list, we're going to click this plus sign, add symbol. Now we can start adding stocks. So let's say we want to add Apple. We type in AAPL for Apple. And then we click this plus sign. Let's say we want to add NVIDIA. NVDA. We type in that there. And let's say you didn't know the tickers for these stocks, which is just the abbreviations. All you have to do is just type in the actual company name. So if you typed in Apple, it's going to show up. So now let's type in, let's add Microsoft. Let's add the S&P 500, SPY. I'm gonna put that there. Let's say we're gonna add, let's see, what's another stock? Let's add in AMC. We can add that there. And you pretty much get the point from here. That's how you add stocks to your watch list, okay? You can create different watch lists. Like if you wanted a watch list full of, you know, more expensive stocks, cheaper stocks, and in between, you can do so. But me personally, I just really just stick to one main watch list, which is this. And usually the first about 20 stocks are the ones that I'm going to watch throughout the week. So let's see what's next. Okay, so now we're going to dive into the nitty gritty on how to actually interpret the charts, okay? So if you look at this section over here, and let's put an arrow, let's look up here. This is our search symbol. So we're looking at NVIDIA right now. So now if we look over, we see we have all these different numbers, okay? So we have 1M, 5M, 15M, 1H, DW. So these are called our time frames, okay? So just to let you know, think of it as if you're looking at something with a magnifying glass. The smaller the time frame you're looking at, the more in depth you're looking at the chart, whereas the higher the time frame you're looking at something, the more larger overview picture you're getting. So if we're looking at something in a 1 minute time frame, we're going to see all the small details and all the intricate price action. Whereas if we're looking at it in a 1 day time frame, we're not going to see all the little price movements. Okay. So keep that in mind. So now when we're looking at these candles, the red ones signify price moving down and the green ones show price moving up. Okay. So if we just made this a line, it would simply say the same thing. Price moves down, price moves up. Price moves down, price moves up. If we switch it back to candles, price moves down, price goes up, goes down, goes up, and so forth. And that's how you pretty much read it. And the thing is, you want to really look at look at the overall picture, and you can see how the overall direction of price is moving. Okay. So now when it comes to the individual candles, now this is the most important part. You have to read them in a certain way because the red and green candles, they have some similarities and they also have some differences. So for now, let's focus on a red candle. So we know our red candles show price moving down. So that is not bullish, that is bearish. So when looking at the candle, we have to understand how to read it. We have to understand where price opened, closed, high and low, right? And this is why we use candles instead of lines, because it gives us more details on how the stock is actually moving. All right, so let's highlight this red candle because this is what we're going to be looking at. So for red candles, where price opens is going to be the top part of this rectangle. So every candle is going to have a rectangle. So right here at the top of the rectangle, that's where price opened for this given time frame. So since we are on a 1 hour time frame, this means that this red candle represents 1 hour of time. And so does each and every other candle. So for this 1 hour of time, price opened at 170.2. And now where price closed is the bottom of the rectangle. So price closed at 167.85. Okay. So now when we're looking at green candles, it's the complete opposite. So for green candles, price opens at the bottom of the rectangle. So price opened at 168.25. The price closed at the top of the rectangle at 170.24. So now those are the differences between the candles. So now we're going to talk about the similarities. So when it comes to the similarities, the highs and lows are the exact same. So you might see the lines coming out of the candles, and that just shows the high and low. So the high for this 1 hour time frame candle is right here. So that's 171.15. And the low point of that 1 hour is 166.64. So now if we look at a green candle, the high point is 175.32 and the low point is 169.18. And this is how we can identify where price opened, closed, and the high point and the low point for that given time frame. And this works amongst all time frames. So now let's say we switched it to a 5-minute time frame. It's going to be the exact same idea, but we just have a lot more candles because we're showing more details. So for this one candle right here, the high point is 183.95. The low point is 181.62. The open for this candle is right here at the bottom of the rectangle, 181.69. And the high point is the top of that rectangle, not the high point, but the close is 183.38. And this is how you can read the actual candles when it comes to looking at a chart. All right, so let me see if there's anything else. Okay, yeah. So before we close out, now I'm going to show you my settings on TradingView, because a lot of people, they said that they like the way my chart looks nice and clean. So if you click the settings right here, chart settings, this is all the settings for the charts. So first, let's start off with symbol. This is how I have mine assembled. So I'm just going to click through these so you can take a short screenshot. You can copy all of my settings, status line, scales, appearances. I have it on gradient, and this is the color that I have it set as. All this is there. Trading stuff and events. All right, and then a couple more things is, let's say you wanted to get some quick news on a stock. Let's say, you know, a stock had some crazy news and you wanted to see what it was. You don't have to go all the way to Google. If you go to TradingView and click on this third icon on the right-hand side, so right there, it's going to be this news icon. So if you click this, oh, this one right here. This is showing all the headlines that have influenced NVIDIA's price movement. I like to use that sometimes. And they have a lot more resources you can use within TradingView. It's a really great website. And it can be there are free versions if you like to use that. And there's also paid versions. Personally, I have the paid version, but I would suggest just waiting until like Black Friday so you can get a good deal on it. So we're trying to save our money, not spend it all. So now, lastly, in this bottom right-hand corner, we have another settings. So we click this icon. We have some more stuff, and I'm not going to go through all these, just the ones that I use. So if you hover over session and click regular trading session, this is going to show you price action, which is just how prices move within the regular trading session. So for Central Time people, 8:30 in the morning to 3:30 p.m. In the afternoon. If you click extended, it's going to show you how price moved once market was closed and before market opened. And you can just utilize that. So on my chart, the blue shows everything that's in this blue section, shows how price moved once the market closed. And then the yellow, it shows how price moved before the market opened in the morning. Okay. So I believe those are all the things that I wanted to cover. Thank you for watching this video. If you made it all the way through, let me know what you enjoyed. Let me know if you learned anything. And this is the basics of TradingView. Always remember, it's all about building that foundation and then scaling up from there. So this foundation, you now understand how to use TradingView, tools, its resources. You understand the basics of how to read a chart. And next, we will be diving into more videos, going further in depth on specific strategies when it comes to trading. So if you're excited for that, let me know what strategy you'd like me to cover, and we'll make it happen. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.